Happy Friday, friends. Good morning. Hope your day is off to a good start. I'm AJ Hilton. This is CBS News Minnesota's morning update. It is a Friday, the first full day of fall. Let's make sure you grab that coffee, grab that tea. Let's get you up to speed when it comes to your news and your weather. And I mentioned the first day of fall. It's expected to be a blustery day today. Not going to see a whole lot of sunshine. Matter of fact, we're tracking some rain in our forecast. Look at the temperature at noon, 56 degrees, and a few showers could be around in the Twin Cities area. At 4 p.m. goes up just a degree, expected to get a little more breezy. And then tonight, look at that, chilly showers. 55 degrees is your temperature. So if you've got plans this afternoon, go ahead and grab that umbrella, poncho, the raincoat, whatever you need. And especially if you're going to be out at high school football tonight, because again, it could be a chilly one this evening. Okay, so it's Feel Good Friday. We've made it through another great week. So now here we are, the first full weekend of fall. Let us know what your weekend plans are. Do you have something going on? Do you have anything positive happening? I know the positive thing for me is the Gophers are going to beat Michigan State this weekend. I'm looking forward to that tomorrow. So sound off. If you're watching on Facebook, leave a comment right here. We're going to read through some of those comments in just a few moments. Now let's get to your headlines this morning, because early voting begins today for the upcoming midterm election. So we're following significant races. Of course, the governor's office, all 8 seats for the U.S. House of Representatives, and the entire Minnesota legislature, those are all being voted on. Voters can either request an absentee ballot and vote from home, or you can vote early in person at your local election office. All you need to do is head to the Secretary of State's website. You can find all of that information. And remember, if you do not vote early, Election Day, it is coming up on November 8th. This Sunday morning on our 10:30 a.m. show, Esme Murphy will interview Minnesota's Secretary of State Steve Simon about the start of voting and the integrity of elections. Still a lot of questions surrounding that. Esme will also interview U.S. Congresswoman Angie Craig, who is in the most expensive congressional race in Minnesota. So you will definitely want to stay tuned for that. We are also continuing to track Hurricane Fiona, because this powerful storm, it is pounding Bermuda with heavy rains and winds. And when it's done there, it is on track to hit Canada's east coast in what could be the country's strongest storm in history. I mean, it was a Category 4 when it rolled through the Bahamas and the Bermuda. Forecasters expect the storm to slam into Nova Scotia tomorrow morning. Residents there are in storm mode. They're preparing, boarding up homes, and getting essentials before that storm hits. Now let's go to Puerto Rico, where the storm has already hit. Thousands are still without clean water, and it's been 4 days since the storm hit. Much of the island still does not have electricity. Look at this. Drivers had to wait in long lines just to get gas for their generators. President Joe Biden says the federal government will pay for 100% of cleanup and recovery efforts. Now let's focus on what's happening in Minnesota, because we are already preparing for winter. Snowplow training is happening now around the state. We checked out a training site in Falcon Heights, and these are the plows that will service St. Paul, Minneapolis, along with Ramsey and Anoka County. New drivers get graded every day.
In the beginning, it's difficult because you're not used to having something so big in front of your truck. When you're plowing and driving, you're always checking your mirrors. Always. We have 6 points of view.
Gotta check those mirrors. MnDOT is training its plow drivers right now, too. It says in just a few weeks, 1,600 of them around the state will be ready for that snowfall. Researchers think they found the key to cutting down on the theft of catalytic converters. I mean, this has been going on for quite some time now, the theft of these. So these researchers have created a version that's less valuable. I mean, these crimes have been surging in the Twin Cities for a few months now. Catalytic converters are a hot ticket item for thieves because essentially of what they're made from.
There's platinum, rhodium, palladium, all precious metals that do different chemistries that help clean up the exhaust from a car.
Researchers at the U are trying to replace those metals with cheaper materials that thieves won't try to resell. And it's working, because just last month, the U.S. Department of Energy gave them a $10.5 million grant to continue their work. The man you heard from, Dowenhauer, hopes the new catalytic condensers will be available within the next 5 years. So we'll have to wait and see what happens with that. But hopefully it deters some of these crimes that continue to happen. Rival soccer teams are teaming up to bring awareness to an issue impacting their community and their teammates. The Mounds View and Irondale teams were bringing attention to safe driving. Reed Hudson, a senior on the team, has missed the season so far with an injury she sustained over the summer. Hudson was one of 6 teens in a car that crashed near Ham Lake in late June. While she and her friend survived, Hudson says she could have made a difference even though she wasn't behind the wheel.
Just speaking up, it can be scary sometimes, but, one voice telling someone to slow down or put their phone down when they're in the car can end up saving a life.
Students at Mounds View are also looking at starting a Students Against Drunk Driving club to keep the conversation going about safe driving year-round. I want you to take a look at a moving tribute to Minnesota's veterans. This is more than a decade in the making. This new memorial pays tribute to local Medal of Honor recipients. It's built around the Promise of Youth sculpture at the state capitol. It's there because the memorial is designed not only to honor the past, but also to inspire the future.
Generations can keep passing on the same character, virtues, and values that their recipients exuded on those horrendous days.
72 Minnesotans have been honored for risking their lives above and beyond the call of duty. There are only 65 Medal of Honor recipients alive in the country, and 5 of them attended that dedication. We know donations are making a big difference for some students living in North Minneapolis. What started as a $500 scholarship in 2018 has grown to $2,500 a student this summer. That's all money that goes a long way to helping pay for college. And a Northside barber and business owner, Tito Wilson, is the man behind it all. He says he's received more than $70,000 so far. That's money going to students like Case Wilson, Devon Selman, and Karen Abdullah. They're among the most recent recipients of the Wilson's Image College Scholarship. All grew up in North Minneapolis, recently graduated from high school, and are now attending college. And some have known Tito since they were kids, even sitting in his chair for a cut. They say it just means a lot knowing the community believes in the person they're destined to become.
So it's helpful to have people who I grew up with knowing so into me, important to me.
Makes me feel proud, you know what I mean? Just to know that, they're not just coming in, here's an opportunity to get some money. They want to show, hey, this investment is not going to go in vain.
It's making a difference, too, because so far 17 students have received scholarships since 2018. Tito says his ultimate goal is to provide full ride scholarships for students. All right, you got to see this. A historic find in the depths of a Madison, Wisconsin lake. The Wisconsin Historical Society and the state's Native Nations recovered a 3,000-year-old canoe from Lake Mendota. This canoe is carved from a piece of white oak. It's about 14.5 feet long. An archaeologist, I should say, discovered it during a recreational dive this past spring. And a year ago, this same group found a 1,200-year-old canoe. The Ho-Chunk Nation says the historic find is more proof their ancestors had developed a society of transportation, trade, and commerce. So cool to see the discoveries that continue to be made. All right, it's Friday. Let's get back to today's talker. Let's see what you're saying about positivity. What's going on this weekend? Holly says, I'm a tutor and I can't wait for test scores to come in so I can start working with kids. Holly, thank you. Thank you so much for making a difference and seeing the need in the community. Danielle says, I'm looking forward to going to Iceland and London soon. Danielle, you'll have to show us pictures. Let us know about that trip. Hopefully you have a safe one. Becca says, I'm just so glad it isn't hot out anymore. But the problem is, Becca, the problem is we're in that zone right now where things are fine. But once we get to October, we could have the chance of snow. I'm just saying, we had 3 inches in 2020 in October. So get ready. Just having some fun. Hey, that's your morning update from CBS News Minnesota, your only local streaming news source. Thanks for watching. We'll see you back here 7:30 Monday morning.